I'm back with another one. So if this fool wasn't cuckoo enough, I was tonight I took a kind of sometimes if you want the good stuff you got to go out a little bit from the city limits, like whatever you're into, whether you're into like athletic training, you're into cool stuff, you got to go out of town a little bit for the cool stuff. So like this hat, I got it at a service station that's a little ways out, and like sometimes I'll go up there because it's just a little bit better quality that they got out there. But I was driving in the middle of the night tonight, and I was listening to some music, and like sometimes I'll listen to I'll listen to like my own I'll listen to my own like a DJ, like a web player DJ, like from a streaming platform I use. And it's like normally like they say cut out the middleman, but the personality of that thing is cool. It's like cool. It's like, hey man, we got some more beats for you, man. I know you like that Michael Jackson stuff from back in the day. Rocking with you, man. That's that dope stuff. Keep rocking with MJ, man. Here it go. Enjoy. It talk like that, and that's actually cooler than anyone I know, than anyone that I have in my life right now, male or female. That's a cooler friend that I got. So I got a AI bot friend, and he knows me better than he knows me. There's no human being that would have an idea of what I enjoy as me. So that app, it'll give me props. It'll be like hey man, last week you were in the top 1% of listeners for this artist on the platform. Good look, man, keep it up. Or then it'll say that the week before, and then this week it was like, hey man, you listen to 6,000 minutes of music. Wow. I think the AI bot actually meant that. Like, we could mostly say that like bots don't mean what they say. Like, even as smart as they are, they don't mean that shit because they're programmed to say that. Anybody that's programmed, all of us in modern life are programmed, but something that's programmed usually doesn't mean it. But it sounded like it meant that. Like, it was like, damn, this fool listened to 6,000 minutes, and but that's because I got out. I'm still I'm still a grown man, like doing what I got to do, but because I'm in the vehicle a lot, I can do that and still be productive, more productive if anything, because music is kind of like a cadence. So there's actually, my dad was telling me like some of these in Africa back in the day, you would have like there's really a lot of beautiful culture around music, like in Africa, that it's not entirely understood or appreciated on the world stage as it maybe could be or should be. It's widely understood and celebrated, but not completely as the value of it. And one of them is like some of the like my dad is like really impressed by like male singers, from like male and female singers, but there's some really unique singing from men in like Southern Africa, and my dad can do a lot of it. Like, my dad can make his voice sound like hella deep. It sounds like I was listening to an interview of like Barry White, like recently. He was talking about like AI, actually, is I'm talking about AI back in the 80s, and that man has a dope voice. Like, I actually listened to his voice a little bit, like when I was a young man. Like, he was one of the artists I listened to when I was still like messing with CDs. I just had some random CDs I found like at gas stations, taking a trip, and I would listen to that a lot, Barry White. But actually, I watched the interview and I saw his real energy in that interview, and his energy actually matches the voice. That's the thing. Like, you can have a cool voice, and but your energy really got to match your voice for it to have the real effect. And also your thought process got to match that too. And then maybe a little bit, then your clothes and your jewelry would be like the cherry on top. But there's nothing to put the cherry on if you don't have that other stuff firing. But that man has a cold voice. I'm not gonna I stand down. I stand the hell down. I'm not talking about anything being deeper than Barry White's voice. But my dad can do some stuff with his voice where it sounds deep. It's like deeper than deep, because it has like spirit with it. So it's not just, so you would say maybe like Barry White is like he's low and sexy, or low and smooth. But my dad will do it like where it's low and spiritual. Like, it sounds like some warrior singing, like the type of singing my dad does, like from Southern Africa. But then he can also go very high, or be very like have very just a regular. He can go from like baritone to like almost like a high tenor, and then he can do some stuff that's like Like he's like C, nah. Like how would he do it? He'll be like ooh hey, nah. Wait. I can't make it sound just like him. I should really get him on here to do a bit. That would actually make the channel cool if I could get him to do that. But and I'm just making up stuff. I'm pulling up stuff like that. I can't I wasn't raised in the real culture, but they just do some dope stuff with their voice, like in Africa. But another thing they do, my dad was telling me, is that they can do that. They can sing for all purposes in Africa. They can sing for a wedding. They can sing for lovemaking. They can sing for war. They can sing for peace. They can and they can also sing for work. And my dad was telling me that like sometimes they would like travel like in like say a circus in Africa, or like just some kind of itinerary, like where they're traveling and they're doing like work like on commission, like for a specific reason for a short amount of time, like maybe like 1, 2, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. But they'll get to singing like these songs, and the songs are so beautiful, but then they work in cadence. I saw another example like from a different region of Africa, like in a music class, and it was that real. Like they can, you see people working like this, and they're working like you can imagine they're getting paid subsistence wages, if that, just by the way they're dressed. But they're not just putting their back into it, like they're putting their soul, they're putting their they're putting their blood into each motion. And it's like at that point is worship to work that hard, yet sing while you work. That's real worship right there, and it's humbling to see something like that. But you can do more with cadence, is all I'm saying. So so sometimes actually, if you have a job like where you have to do deliveries and stuff like that, you do deliver. I actually did deliveries for a long time, like in a stick shift, like for a pizza place, and I wouldn't listen to any music. I'd just be in dead silence doing that, because I was focusing like on like safety back then. But then I realized, like with the stuff I do now, where you set your own schedule, you can go for way longer and also be attentive if you got like if you have the appropriate music to keep cadence even with yourself. But I was meant to say is that I was driving in the middle of the night, and something weird flew in front of the car. I'd like to think it was an owl, but it didn't exactly look like an owl, but it was about the size of an owl. And it was just something weird that it came up from the side of the road and flew across like that. But there are birds awake at night, like where I'm at right now, like waiting for orders. There'll be like night birds, or sometimes I'll go by a pond and like ducks are making noise like past when you think they're sleeping. So there's bird activity at all time. But that's actually what I want to talk about a little bit, which is that like some of so we can and this is actually to my previous video, is that so we can appreciate that that birds are they're busy communicating a lot of times. And you listen to even some of these videos, like my previous series where I started with some birds speaking, and that's way beyond like what we can appreciate as English. Like this what's coming out of my mouth right now that I call talking it's like the most basic thing compared to the way that these birds are communing, and even the way that other human beings commune in English and in other languages. It's really what you can do with language and communication has no bounds. Music would be an example of that, but even speech, there's no bounds to it. But I think that, but what I want to say is that I made another video saying that in the past we've been reared in like popular religion that human beings were, and maybe animals too, were tasked to toil and labor. But we saw like with the pandemic that even that can come to a halt. Production can slow down to a halt, or even be dispensed with, or be superfluous or redundant in many terms. A lot of different things people did for work in the past became supplanted, replaced, and redundant through technology. So we could say that it's feasible that at one point labor could be redundant, generally speaking. But I'm not trying to talk like an expert on that. But all I meant to say is that what's more significant than even labor is balance. Labor may or may not work in our favor, but balance is favorable, and it's required. That's what we're tasked with. You can do anything righteous, unrighteous, kind, unkind, but you cannot get outside of balance. You must remain balanced, or you're gonna get checked on that if it's out of balance. So that I got one more with this.